Hey, and welcome back to another video. Today I have for you this little brochure fold-out comparison chart from Rose Publishing. And it's comparing different denominations. It says compare 12 denominations and their beliefs. So it goes through and compares some of the major Christian groups, talks about who their founder was, their view on Scripture, the view on God, and so forth. And it's a really interesting read. If you fold it out, it shows you here on the side, it'll say, okay, well, who, when was it founded and by whom, and, it talks about how is Scripture viewed. And what's interesting, and as you fold it out, you can kind of compare them in their beliefs. Now, wouldn't you think that on the one hand, it's all Christianity, right? So why are their views so differing? We say, well, because no two men view the Scripture the same, and the Bible is open to interpretation, and yada yada yada. Well, that may be true, but wouldn't you think that there would not be such a diversity in terms of their beliefs? I mean, it's the same Bible that they're basing all this on. Well, yeah, but it's open to interpretation. Okay, so then whose interpretation is correct is my question. And that's one of the things I began to contemplate early on in life, growing up in the church. So you can go through and see, what their view is on what happens after death, their view on the sacraments and any other practices that they may have. Really interesting, and these are all the major Christian denominations that are out there. So as you work your way to the back, this is the part of the chart that I find to be the most intriguing, and that's really, I referenced this in my first video where I talked about, basically my position is prior to the first 1,000 years going back, let's say when the alleged time of Christ's death, around, what they say, 34, somewhere around there, to somewhere between 34 AD, common era. So for the first thousands of years, it looks as though, at least to this point, you had the unified church, and that was the Catholic Church. So Jesus was a Catholic? No, Jesus was a Jew. So Paul must have been a Catholic. No, I don't think Paul was a Catholic. But yes, early church fathers in the first couple hundred years, they were definitely Catholics. And you can see, so for the first 1,000 years, up until the great schism that occurred between East and West, Catholic Church, in 1054 CE, yeah, he had a branch, and so the Orthodox Church continued because, and I believe this was to do with some of what was happening within the Catholic Church. The Orthodox Church were more, I think, strict adherence to what the Scriptures said, whereas the Catholic Church started, praying to Mary, started praying to the saints, having all these other things that were not scriptural, which later on, not too far down, when you can see here, about 1517, that's when the Lutheran Church began, because Martin Luther, when he wrote his 99 Theses, that was what caused him to branch out, because he's like, wait a minute, so he went off and did his own thing. But the Catholic Church, as you can see, continues, and in 1534, you got the Anglican Church, or the Episcopal Church, branches off, and then out of them branches off the Methodists, and then you can see all the other folks that came out of that. And then in the 1900s, you could see that, okay, you had the Methodists, and then, oh, look at that, about 100 years ago, Pentecostals got their start. And you can see all the churches that came, denominations that came out of Pentecostalism. You can see the Calvary Chapel, you can see the Assemblies of God, it's like Church of God. I mean, it's amazing to me that there can be all these different denominations. And what stems from all this, what causes all this, is the fact that men cannot agree. They cannot agree on things, and so therefore they go out and start their own church. I think that was kind of how Joseph Smith, and I believe it was Mormonism, and who was the other one that did Jehovah's Witness? Maybe I have them flipped around, but basically those two were Jehovah's Witness and Mormonism. They started at one point with the basic tenets of Christianity and said, no, and they kind of went off the rails with it. And I have another little brochure I can share with you another time that talks about Christianity and cults and different religions, and it talks about some of it Mormonism, and it talks about Jehovah's Witnesses and why they're not actually in this comparison chart, because they're not considered to be part of Christianity because of their beliefs. But going back to this chart, you can see back there when Martin Luther, when he split from the Catholic Church, out of that you had the Mennonites, the Anabaptists, you had the Lutheran Church, which seemed to remain the same. And then, 1536, you had the Calvinists came out of the Lutheran Church. And it's all because these people could not agree on the scriptures. So if they can't agree on the scriptures, what does that tell you? That men are, no two men can agree on the same thing, and they, it's open to interpretation. Well, if the Bible is so open to interpretation, then it must not be very clear. And if a divine God wrote the Bible and inspired man, it's God breathed, but man wrote it, and God told man what to write. Is he trying to confuse man? I see. It's our lack of intelligence. So, no, I think it's just that man created religion. I think man created Christianity, and that's what we're dealing with. And that's why you see all these different lines, like looking like a subway train map or something. It's crazy. But you can see out of Calvinism came the Baptists and the Congregationalists. And then out of Baptists, guess what happened? 1801, you got the Church of Christ. And in 1844, you got the Adventists. And then, look at that, the Southern Baptists. And so you've got all these different denominations, all stemming from the Catholic Church, all going all the way back to the Catholic Church. And where did the Catholic Church get its beliefs from? Well, I believe they hijacked Judaism and formed Christianity. So Christianity's beginnings for quite some time were Catholicism. It was the Catholic Church. And then as time went on, things changed, as you can see. So this is a really neat chart. If you can get your hands on it, like I said, Rose Publishing, it can't be more than maybe a couple dollars if you actually get the paper copy. I don't think I paid very much. I'll look to see if I had the price on the back of it, but it's a little used, but it still has a lot of great information. And they may even offer it, just on their website. You can maybe just view it. I don't know. You can get like a PDF of it or something. But anyways, I thought I'd share that with you because I know I haven't made a video in a while, and I just want to let you know I'm still alive and kicking and doing well. But some personal life challenges have kept me at bay and not able to make the videos as often as I'd like to. But I wanted to be fair and give a video because I hadn't posted in a while, and I knew you guys would appreciate hearing something from me. So if you can check out this denominations comparison chart, and just you'll find it to be interesting. I did, certainly, and I find it to be helpful to kind of form your understanding of what Christianity really is all about, and really kind of its origins, and really just how it's continued to evolve over time. So I hope you found this video to be interesting. Leave some comments below. Let me know what you think on this and other videos that I presented in the past, and I will see you again in the future.